Hi everyone, welcome to my fourth video on Power Automate. In the previous three videos, we've created a automated workflow where you can download email attachments automatically. We also learned how to differentiate the attachment, whether it's an inline attachment or whether it's a file attachment, and then only save the file attachment. We also know how to extract a zip file using a built-in operation within the OneDrive for Business connector. And then for those zip files that's password protected, we also learn how to use a third-party API to handle this type of password protected zip files. Right? So this is the flow that we created in our previous videos. Right? So one issue with this flow is at the time when, for simplicity purpose, actually we hardcode the password 20250503 into the automate flow, right? But in reality, the password is definitely changing every time, right? Let me just give you an example to see how that will affect our workflow, right? For example, I'm going to write a new email, right? And then I'm going to use a email previously I've already used, and then delete all these files. Say you have a client send you an email with a attachment telling you that the email attachment is password protected, and also tell you the password for that attachment, right? So with this one, if I write my own email address, so in this email there is one email attachment with the password written down in the email body. It's 20250504, right? So let me go to the Power Automate. Let's do the test for this one. Manual and test. And then let me send the email. And then also go back to the Power Automate interface. Wait for the process to pop up. Okay, it's coming out. You see there are error message coming out in this workflow, right? And then if we go down to the down below, extract from archives, and see the outputs, right? If we scroll down, you see because in our original workflow, the password is hard-coded 20250503. It's not really the new password that's written down in the email 20250504, right? And then we down below, you can see the error message is the password provided is invalid. So that means the hard-coded password is not the right password. This definitely will be the issue we encounter because we won't really have exact same password for every password protected zip file, right? Okay, so this is the issue that we are facing, right? And then probably you will be asking yourself a question, okay, if that email body includes the password, right? Is there any way that we can extract this information and load that password into the automation flow automatically as a dynamic input, right? So this is the question that we might ask ourselves, right? The answer is yes, definitely we can do that. So in this case, actually we will be expanding our sort of scope into large language models that's available also in the overall Power Automate solutions, right? So let me go to the Power Automate interface and then close this one back. And then let me first turn this off. Okay, turn this off. All right. So remember in my first video, I slightly touched on this AI Hub, right? So AI Hub actually provides tools where you can write your own prompt talking to a large language model and then doing specific tasks, right? For example, if I click the prompts, right? So it will give you quite a lot popular templates, including summarizing the text, extracting information from the text, classified text, etc., etc. These are the preview templates that's available in that, right? So for our case, right, basically what we want to do is to extract information from an email. We can consider email as a text. So basically this template can be used as our starting point, right? So probably let's click this into that, right? So you can see the prompt is written down in this template. Is quite comprehensive. Basically extract specific entity provided as comma separate list from provided text with precision, etc., 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 right? So for our case, probably we don't really need that much information. So probably we need to rewrite this prompt. Right? So, but before we write, we need to be very clear in our mind of what we really want to achieve. So ultimately, we want to load this email body information into this prompt as an input text, and then telling this large language model to extract the information, the password information that we want, right? So we might have to write something down, like let me close this one, build your own prompt, right? Instruction. What we want to do is we can just write it by ourselves, extract the specified password from the provided. Here we can add a content. It's a text, right? So this is basically the input, right? And later we can test this by pasting the text into this sample data box, right? First, let's finish the writing the prompt with precision. The actual, what we normally encounter is when the sender send you a password protected email, password protected zip file within an email, and then he will write the password, right? It follows certain patterns. It will tell you, okay, the password as follow, password semicolon, the exact password, right? So we just need to tell the large language model how to do that, right? We can tell the large language model the actual password to be extracted normally follows keywords such as password or email. Since I'm working in China, so quite a lot of time actually I'm receiving emails written in Chinese, right? So I also need to factor in there might be emails written in Chinese mentioning the password or mima, right? So I just need to write this as well to make sure it captures the right thing. There might be, so I also need to tell the potential structure of the password, how that information is delivered normally in that email body. There might be a semicolon separating the keyword and the actual password. The final output should be just the password itself. Actually, you can regulate the outputs, right? Output format, password, right? So that's basically a prompt that we can write it. It might not be the perfect one, but as long as it can, the large language model can understand and give you the correct answer, then that's fine, right? And at the same time, actually, you can choose the language model that you want to use. Since we are not really handling a very complicated document, it's just an email. Normally, the email body, the information within the email body is relatively simple. So we can just use the basic GPT 4o mini model, right? But if you are going to handle a very complicated document, probably you will have to use the standard GPT 4o model, right? So for this one, we just use this one. So with all this information ready, we can just test, right? So that email, we can copy this information, all the information within that email body, and then paste that into the sample data, right? So you see that email tells you the password for the attachment is 20250504, right? And then close, and we can just click the test, right? Okay, so now you see, right, the model actually give you a correct answer, extracting the right password from the email body without you getting into that email by yourself, right? So this is the right output actually we are looking for, right? And then we can the output format, it can be either a text or a JSON, right? JSON, the good thing about JSON is it will just give you a entity name password, right? And then later in the automation, you can just use that password as a dynamic input in the automation workflow, right? But in this case, we can either use text or JSON. It doesn't really matter that much, right? If you use a JSON, let me make this a bit smaller. Or use a text. You can just say save this, right? And we can just write it extract password from email. This is the custom prompt, but we can just copy. Okay, so that's done, and I can just click save. All right, then it is saved, and you will be able to use that in your automation flows. Let me click my flow. So let's go into this one, unzip this one, right? So before this video, actually I've already created a workflow to handle this because I just want to save some time instead of writing the automation flow starting from the beginning. I create this one to illustrate, right? To save some time. Let's get into the edit. Right. So it still start with a email trigger, email arrive, new email arrive into the our mailbox. Then there's a condition regarding whether it's an inline attachment. and there is also condition whether it's a zip file or RAR file. And then down below, actually, I put in two error handling scope. One is try, another is catch. Try is basically do something, trying to handle the zip file without a password, assuming it's not password protected. But if it is a password protected zip file, then this scope under the try will give out a error message. If it is a zip file without a password, then it will work, right? Basically, it will create extract the file and save that file into a folder. Right? But if there is an error message, then in the next step, the catch, if this whole process, this whole scope on the try failed, then we use this catch, right? So this catch actually within the setting, we have a select action run after the try. Run after the try has failed, then we will run everything under the catch scope, right? In this scope, actually, we're putting a run prompt, right? So basically, because try has failed, that means that zip file is password protected. Then we need to extract the password information, right? So we've created this one custom prompt extract password from email body, right? This is the one that we created. Actually, I created one yesterday, but today I just create exact the same one, just for demonstration purpose. But I just use this one, right? And then you can, because when you write that prompt, right, there is an input for the text, right? Because the prompt basically is going to read through the text to see specific information is there or not. If there is there, it will extract that specific information, right? So for the inputs, basically we just need to send the email body, right? When a new email arrives, basically send all the email body information into this prompt, right? So basically we just putting a email body parameter in this text input, right? And then once that's done, you have to know that the output for the prompt basically is a text or it's a JSON for the password, right? So you know the output for this run prompt is a text or JSON, right? So basically, you will do extract from archive and put in the password. This password actually coming from the run the prompt operation, and then this is the output from that run the prompt operation, and then pass that into this step as the input for the password, right, under the password parameter. So this basically complete the steps, right? Then we have the password extracted from the email body and pass into this step, and then it will just run the next one step, create a file if the extraction is successful, right? So this is the flow that we are looking at. Basically now we are using a large language model to automatically extract password, pass that into that extract from archive operation, and then save the file onto our OneDrive, right? So then let's test whether this one works, right? Text, manual, save in text. Okay, the flow actually will give you some error message, a warning message, but it won't really stop you from running. Later I will touch on that. Let me finish the test for now. Right, so let me do this email again. Let me put in another file that's without a password, and let me also put in a picture so that every threading thing we can test everything is working, right? And then send. Let's go back to the Power Automate interface. Okay, it's coming out. You see there are, in total, there are 3 attachments. It will just loop through every attachment. If it is a inline attachment, it will just ignore. And then you see there is an error in the try, and down below in the catch, we complete the running, right? Which means the run the prompt actually is successful. Let's see the outputs for the run the prompt. Prompt. Let's go down. Go down. Okay, you can see that, right? It is the password is 20 response prediction 20250504. So it extracts the password information from the email body correctly, and then it pass that information as an input into our next step, right? Operation password 20250504, and then because the password is correct, and then you will just save the file, right? Okay, let's get into the team and see whether those files are really saved. Okay, all right, so you can see that, right? So these 2 files are saved under that password protected zip file with password 20250504, and this file is in that zip file without password protection, right? So basically this flow can handle both password protected and the non-password protected zip files within an email, right? Of course, it will ignore the inline attachments. Okay. All right. So this is all for this video. Basically, this video further expand our Power Automation capability by leveraging the large language models to extract information from specific text and use that information for our next steps in the automation flows. These are very important or helpful function or tools for us to really automate with minimum human interface intervene. Right? Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again soon.